Two of the youngest drivers on the grid. Can we start by talking about the oldest driver on the grid, who has just announced that he's going to retire from Formula One at the end of the year? I'd like to get your reaction to that news, and just tell us a little bit about your relationship with Kimi and how much he has inspired you. Who'd like to start? George, let's start with you.
The first time I ever spoke to Kimi, the conversation ended with him twisting my nipples. So at the FIA gala in 2018. So no, he's one of a kind. Huge amount of respect for everything he's achieved on track and off circuit as well. You know, he's a bit of a legend, and yeah, for sure he'll be missed. There's no one like him.
Thank you, Lando, please.
I mean, sadly, I've not had quite the interaction as George had, but you know, he's one of the guys who's made Formula One what it is today since many years ago. So I think he'll be missed. He's obviously not the big talker, so he won't be missed as in how much he says, but only, you know, more for the opposite reason in a way. So he has a lot of character and also not much character at the same time, and yeah, so many people love him because of that, you know. So he'll be missed, I think, by many. He's still one of the best drivers which have been in Formula One, and he's achieved a lot of things, more than many of us drivers who are on the grid currently. So, yeah, one day I would love to emulate him in a way.
Now, can we start, please, by talking about Kimi Raikkonen's imminent departure from Formula One? Fernando, let's start with you. How much are you going to miss Kimi?
Not much. I mean, what do you mean?
As a competitor, as a person?
As a competitor, yeah, we will miss him because obviously he has been, you know, for many years, and we had great battles in the past more because we had more competitive cars and we were fighting for championships and podiums and things like that. But yeah, you know, there are always 20 drivers in F1, and we go up and down on the order, and we go sometimes not in the sport anymore. And yeah, probably it's his decision. I think he did an amazing career. He did enjoy the time here, and for sure wishing him the best for the future.
What about as a person? How well do you feel you've got to know Kimi over the years?
Not much, no. I don't know him enough to have an opinion. We know that Kimi is special and quite shy, and you know, not big relationships with anyone. And I was teammate of him in 2014 in Ferrari, but even that year we didn't have the opportunity to meet each other well enough or more than now. So yeah, I cannot say anything about that.
What about going wheel to wheel with him on track?
Always fair, always respectful, always a tough competitor, but old school. So always very fair and no tricks. So in that aspect, I think yeah, I will miss him because you know you knew that you could trust Kimi when you were side by side, because he will never do any crazy thing or anything that put in danger any of the two. So he was a fair competitor.
Thanks, Fernando. Sergio, turning to you, can we get your thoughts on Kimi's retirement from Formula One? What's your reaction to the news?
Well, just like Fernando says, you know, it's the nature of the sport. I think Kimi has had an incredible career. I remember looking up to him in the early days, you know, with the fights that he had with Fernando. I think, yeah, he can be extremely proud of what he's achieved in the sport. He certainly enjoyed his time on the sport his own way. You know, I think Kimi was a very unique character, a very unique person, and yeah, I just wish him the very best in his next chapter.
Can we just get your reaction to Kimi Raikkonen retiring from Formula One at the end of the year, and tell us how much of an inspiration he was to each of you? Perhaps, Mick, we could start with you, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously when I heard the news, it was obviously quite saddening because I was looking forward to driving another year on the same grid as him. But I think that he's got family, and he wants probably to see something else than Formula One, which is understandable after so many years. But yeah, definitely sad. And I just remember the first time where we really were in the same room for some time was in St. Petersburg when the FIA Gala was there, and we all had a very good time. So yeah, definitely we'll miss those moments.
Thank you. Esteban, please.
Yeah, it is a sad news. Of course, we are missing, character of Formula One and one fantastic driver that has, left a big mark into the sport. We don't talk much with Kimi. He doesn't talk much to anybody, but clearly, yeah, we will miss him. And the fights I had with him were great, and he's an amazing driver. I wish him the best for his future.
Valtteri, can we start with you, please? And I'd like to talk about your compatriot, Kimi Raikkonen, who's announced his retirement from Formula One at the end of the year. Can we get your reaction to the news, and just tell us about the influence Kimi had on you and your career?
I think, like he said himself, that nothing lasts forever, and eventually always there's time for something new, and he had a impressive and long career in Formula One. One of the longest, if not the longest, I don't know. But for sure, he had an impact on me as a youngster. I was following him closely when he started in Formula One. I was following his season when he won the World Championship. At that time, I was doing my first season in single-seaters in Formula Renault when he won his title with Ferrari. He's obviously a big star in Finland. He's a bit of a legend. So yeah, it definitely always was good fun to watch him, and it's been nice also racing with him because he's one of the drivers that when you race with, you're quite comfortable, going wheel to wheel, and he's always had good respect to his competition, and that's the way I like racing as well. So.
Can we start, please, talking about Kimi Raikkonen? He announced yesterday his retirement from Formula One at the end of the season, and I'd love to get both of your thoughts on Kimi. Lewis, if we could start with you. You enjoyed many great battles with Kimi over the years. What's your reaction to the news?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Of course, he's had an incredibly long career. He's been here a long time. So I know he's got a family, and I know he's already said that he's got things he's looking forward to enjoying beyond. But I just admire his will to continued racing. He's clearly racing's in his blood, so he will be missed. I remember before I got to Formula One, being a huge fan of Kimi's, and when I played the computer games, I'd always be in Kimi's car, So to this crazy experience of racing against him, losing a championship to him, and then seeing, lots of great battles. So he will be missed.
What was it like going wheel to wheel with Kimi?
Kimi was one of the better drivers to go up. It was tough, but very, very fair, and you just knew that he was one of the most skillful drivers here. So, but there was a good amount of respect on track always with him.
And how well do you feel you've got to know Kimi over the years that you've been in Formula One together?
Not well at all. I would say I probably got to know him a little bit before, when I was in a young driver program at McLaren. And then I think when I was in GP2, I probably met him a couple more times. But then once I got to Formula One, yeah, you don't really get to, when you're competing against people, and you don't really get a lot of time to go and hang at other people's garages, So I would say that since I've been in Formula One, there's not been a huge amount of interaction. I would say the last time I spoke to him directly was when I lived in Switzerland, gave him a call about something. I can't really remember what it was, but he was super positive then. And yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Lewis. Antonio, coming to you. You're his teammate. What has impressed you about Kimi?
Many things, of course. I knew him already since 2017 when I joined Ferrari, like third driver. And to be honest, straight away we had a great relationship together. Like you say, I think Kimi is really fair inside and outside of the track, at least from my side. No politics, great teammate. And for me, it was a big help, when I joined Formula One to be his teammate. I learned so many things from him, especially in the race. He's still, I think, really, really strong. And also the passion that he has for this sport. After many years, he's still really motivated, still now. So, really great guy. And for sure, Formula One will miss him.
Can we start, please, by talking about Kimi Raikkonen? Sebastian, he was a former teammate of yours. Can we just get your reaction to the news that he's going to retire? And tell us what you think his greatest strength was as a driver.
I think knowing Kimi, I think he knows he's probably the better one to ask of why. But I wish him all the best. I think he's been around a long time and an incredible talent. So seeing that firsthand as a teammate for some years was impressive. Just the amount of speed he has right from the get-go and the ability to get used to different conditions, different cars. He definitely earned his place and had obviously a long and great career.
Daniel, can we get your reaction to the news, please?
All reaction, I guess when someone retires, like in a way you're happy for them because I guess they've made the decision, like he's obviously at peace with it and he's at a point in his life where he's ready to do other things. So I guess I'm happy for him to kind of have that next chapter. And I think looking back on his career, when I was a fan of the sport growing up, I remember he was young and fast, like that was the image. And I think as Seb touched on, like was able just to jump in a car and had that raw speed, and also made a very successful, call it comeback after leaving for, was it 3 years? 2 years. So then to win a race post comeback was impressive. So I know he has a family and stuff, so I'm happy for him to, let's say, be more of a dad probably in the future now and spend some more time probably at home.
What will you guys miss about Kimi?
Exactly that. The silence.
The silence. The awkward silence.
So don't get me wrong, I wasn't thinking that was actually my planned answer.
I think for that, like everyone seems to, he's one of the most popular drivers and has been for years, and he's built a fan base of doing very little other than obviously his on-track performances. But even me, after 10, 11 years in the sport, do I honestly know where I stand with Kimi? No, because there's very few words, but it's funny. And for sure, one of a kind in the most complimentary way possible.
Kimi, can we start with you, please? You broke the news yesterday about your retirement from Formula One. How difficult was it for you to make that decision?
Not really. Obviously, it wasn't made yesterday, suddenly. So, not really. Obviously, like I said to you before, I have experience on that, so it was working out okay on that time. So, obviously, there's always, how the mind plays game, and it's I've been a long time here, but in the end, luckily, I would say that the F1 has never been my life in a way that it takes a lot time from our lives, but it's never been the main thing in my life. I was live my life in outside and do normal things, and so on that hand, it's fine.
Have you had a chance to think about what you're going to do next?
No plans. I don't want to have some schedule put on because obviously last obviously, whatever, 18, 19 years in F1. Since I started, I did rally in those 2 years. There was always a schedule, always a, what is coming next and what is this date and that date. So I don't want that. That's for sure one of the big reasons why I want to also do something else that I don't. The life doesn't go because of the race or whatever it is. The work that it's involved in F1. So, obviously there's other schedules. Family, the kids' schools and kindergartens and that stuff. But I don't also want that the family life is dictated by when is the race or test or whatever, the flight to the next work. So I'm not in a rush or not even thought about it at all yet. So obviously sometimes I known this situation for quite a while. So there's always obviously opportunities and do this or do that. But right now I'm not interested to even think about it.
Can we just take a moment to reflect on your career?
Oh, you.
What has been, Kimi, what has been your greatest strength as a driver?
I don't know if I have one. I had a good run. I'm happy what I achieved. Obviously, you want to win, and it's not an easy to win. I wanted to win a championship. I got close quite a few times and managed to win it with Ferrari. So happy that it happened, especially with them. And but the rest, strength or not strength, I don't care. I had fun and I did it my way, and I'm nothing. I wouldn't change a single thing, even if I could, because otherwise then maybe we wouldn't be sitting here today if you change the one thing on the way. So no complaints. I cannot really complain.
When and where were you happiest?
Happiest? Home, with family.
In a Formula One context?
Definitely out there on the track rather than in here in the media. But I always said it as it is, and obviously the purpose to come here in the race is to do racing and driving, and that's why we come here. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that happens around that, and but that's at least it's never been for me the reasons to come here.
What will you miss about Formula One?
It's hard to say. I mean, obviously we still have quite a few races to go, and we'll try to do the best that we can. But obviously, I met a lot of people over the years. Some has come more friendship than others, but it's. I'm sure with the people that I met and be, let's say, more like a friends now. We'll see each other anyhow. So, do I miss the racing? I don't know. I've done it so long that I doubt that I start to miss it that much.
And of your 21 wins, which was the most satisfying?
Obviously, every win is different, and some came more easy than others. But I think there was more important ones than others, and for sure in. Something like in 2007, especially end of the year, they were more important than others. But then, something like some wins in Spa that we definitely didn't have the speed with the car. Or I don't know, Japan was a hectic, weekend overall and everything. But they're all good, and you all have to fight for it. So I wouldn't say that there's one that it's. More special than others. Obviously, I think winning the first one is always a difficult one, and it's kind of different than the rest of them.
Kimi, it's been a wonderful career. Thank you. Now, Pierre, coming to you, how much are you going to miss this guy?
Well, there is only one Kimi, and I think he's very unique, so I think clearly he's going to be missed by all the people in the paddock. Kind of remember like my first memories from watching F1 from the 2002 2003, so Kimi was already there, and it's been pretty incredible to grow up from year to year in karting, watching all these guys racing, and Kimi was part of them, and then ended up in Formula One racing against him. So, very privileged, and for sure we'll miss such an iconic driver like him in the paddock.
And Pierre, can we just bring it on to this weekend? Can we get your thoughts